welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, joined here by our senior draft analyst, Chris James. And Chris, now that the 2014 NFL draft is complete, let's hand out some draft grades. And we're going to start with the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to take a look at their draft from the first round all the way down to round 7 to see how well the Falcons did this past weekend.
The Falcons weren't as bad as their record indicated. They just suffered plenty injuries in 2013. That put them in a great spot in this year's draft to come away with some top talent to help them get back to the playoffs. And I really like the selections of Devontae Freeman and Ricardo Allen, two of my favorite players in college football. What I like most about the Falcons draft is that they instantly got better on both sides of the line of scrimmage, with offensive tackle Jake Matthews out of Texas A&M and defensive tackle Rashid Hageman out of Minnesota. Both guys could be day one starters at positions of need for Atlanta. And I also like how in the back end of the draft, they beefed up their linebacking core. Two guys in particular, in Prince Shimbo out of Notre Dame and Tyler Starr out of South Dakota. Shimbo's a solid all-around player that'll be a good run defender, while Starr, who had a spectacular week at the East-West Shrine Game, is an outstanding edge rusher with the ability to drop back and excel in coverage. The one thing I questioned about the Falcons draft was that they missed the opportunity to grab a good tight end prospect. When they selected free safety Desmond Southward out of Wisconsin, there were some pretty good options on the board, like Crockett Gilmore out of Colorado State, Arthur Lynch out of Georgia, maybe even a guy like Ted Bolser out of Indiana, or Richard Rodgers out of Cal. I also like Kamel Ishmael at free safety, so I didn't think free safety at that point in the draft was more of a need over another tight end to team up with Levine Tololo. Some undrafted free agents that could surprise and make the roster. I'm a big fan of quarterback Jeff Matthews out of Cornell, who's a stronger arm version of Matt Ryan. I went to 3 of his games and scouted him live in person: Harvard back in 2012, Yale and Penn this year, and the Falcons were at each and every one of those games. They were big fans of what Matthews brings to the table. Roosevelt Nix was an outstanding player for the Golden Flashes throughout the course of his career. He played defensive line and will be making a transition to linebacker a la Lamar Woodley, and he has the talent and the athleticism to do so and excel. James Stone out of Tennessee put together a solid week of practice in Tampa at the East-West Shrine Game, but also throughout the course of his volunteer career. Stone excels in the running game department, which is a welcome addition to that Falcons offensive line. Jacob Peterson out of Wisconsin is your classic H-back. Keep him on the move, and he's a problem for opposing defenses. But if you put him on the line of scrimmage and ask him to block, he becomes a problem for your own offense. But all jokes aside, his receiving skills gives Matt Ryan yet another weapon in the passing game. And although it's only on a tryout basis, keep an eye on Henderson State's linebacker Keaton Sticker, who is a very good inside backer that excels on both ends of defense, but also is a tremendous athlete who served as the Reddies' short yardage and goal line back this year, scoring 14 touchdowns. I gave the Falcons a B+ for their draft. They did an excellent job plugging holes up front on both sides with Matthews and Hageman. They also beefed up their linebacking core and came away with an impressive group of undrafted free agents that could make the roster. Health permitting, the Falcons could find themselves back in the thick of the NFC South race this season. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Falcons fan forums for always showing football game plan support.